there, my name's Jill Tiny. I'm from Collaboration Global, and this is our podcast, Being Human, Hidden Depths. I'm going to be interviewing some of our members from Collaboration Global, and they're going to be sharing with you their extraordinary lives. Although they would probably believe they're just normal, everyday, average humans, but they are extraordinary. A bit like you and me. We all have our story to tell. We've all been through difficult times, and we've come out the other end having learnt an extraordinary amount about ourselves that we can share with others. So I think you'll find lots of things that will resonate with where you've been in your journey as well. I look forward to seeing you on the other side. Hello and welcome to the podcast, Being Human, Hidden Depths. And my name is Jill Tiny from Collaboration Global. And I'm very pleased to say today we are joined by Leo Saunders. He of Tune River fame. You may have heard of him. You may possibly have been in the audience when he was up on stage doing his thing as a musician. And he is very passionate about making sure musicians are credited with all the creation that they give to us as wonderful musicians and everyone else in the creative world. So welcome, Chris. Leo. I was just talking to Chris earlier. Sorry, Leo.
Lovely to be your friend.
I get that right. You can tell when you do sort of one-off conversations, they go in different directions. And back in the room, Jill's back in the room. Hello, Leo.
Hi, Jill. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Lovely to have you here, my darling.
Good to be here.
Can I ask the initial question I ask everybody is, how did you find Collaboration Global, and how are you experiencing it? What's it like for you being a part of the community?
I was introduced to Collaboration Global by someone who I have worked with in the past, someone called Sue Plumtree. I'd helped Sue out with some branding and some help with her website and things like that. And we meet regularly and we just keep in touch. She's such a badass. She's so cool. I just love her. I love her, her energy and the way she serves others through her relationship counseling. And sorry, not counseling, but relationship help. And she introduced me. She just said several times, she said, I'm not on commission. You should check out this group. It's such a wonderful group. They've got my back all the time. They're really there for me. I meet wonderful people who are, they're really positive and they're in the right place, in the right mindset. So it was her saying that regularly, and I thought, I've got to check this out.
You can't do, can you? This is the thing. She won't let you. You kind of have to listen to her. She's an amazing woman, I agree. And what she doesn't know about relationships is not worth knowing. She's, as you say, badass. I think she's brilliant. Yeah. So we talk about, as you know, collaboration. That's our thing. And I come across a lot of solopreneurs and people who wouldn't dream of collaborating because it's like, well, no, somebody might, if I open my database, somebody might steal my clients, or they might actually take my IP if I give them one of my good ideas. And why would I collaborate? So they end up being on their own and protecting themselves from all of these terrible people that are out there. And they hit a certain point and they don't grow and they stay there, which to me is quite sad, when collaboration means you can be a bigger expression of who you are. What I find with you and the industry that you are part of, although as you've just told us, you dabble in many things. You do branding, you do websites, you probably a bit of marketing and all sorts of digital marketing, and you're very techie, tuned in, pardon the pun, person. I do find that your industry, the music industry, I mean, this is your love and this is your passion, which is why we're talking about it on this podcast. They seem to collaborate really naturally. and you hear of all the top stars, you say, oh yes, I did a collaboration with whoever. I'm just trying to think of who's always collaborating with people. Mine's gone blank, but yeah, you know the thing when you hear on the radio.
Sheeran's quite
Oh,
good
there you go. That's the man.
From a recent sort of like perspective. He's
so much, isn't he? I don't think there's anyone in the pop industry that hasn't had, you know, whether he's written them a song or sung with them on a song or produced a song for them or done something. Why do you think musicians and creative people seem to be able to do it more, you know, as a matter of course rather than a chore? Something that has to be done.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I don't think it's particularly always been that way. I mean, from my experience of music, and this might be an age-related thing, but yeah, when I was doing music in my 20s, it was really competitive, really cliquey, and people were almost opposed to each other. It's like, yeah, it's very sort of ego-based, but definitely, I would say definitely the last 5 years or more with music, it's totally changed. And you find this with people who are musicians who work within the industry, that there seems to be this tribe mentality that we're all in it for each other. And that's the spirit that you know we bring to Tune River as well, is that we're supporting artists. We believe in that artist community. I think there's been within the artistic community, there's been a bit of a growth and realization that 1 + 1 quite often equals more. And as streaming services have come about within the music industry, it's great from a consumer perspective because you can have access and suggestions to music that you may not have been able to hear before. But from an artist perspective, that's a challenge because you're not getting paid for it, or you're getting paid very little. And when an artist collaborates with another artist, you are getting more bang for your buck. Basically, you're getting a bigger audience. Like you've got your audience, they've got their audience. You put them together, and you've got a much bigger audience. And you know that's probably something to encourage within business as well. If you transfer that to business, that Venn diagram of customers or people that you serve or people that like your products or your offering, if you combine them, then you've got a wider demographic that you're communicating with.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like a magic triangle. You try and find the two other people that aren't what you've got. So if you've got a high profile, you want to find somebody with a product and you want to find somebody else with maybe tech ability to get it out there, or marketing ability or something, and vice versa. So you always want to find the people that, if you haven't got a high profile, you need to maybe a celebrity. If you've got the product, then you still need someone else to put it all together. So it's really, so for us, we always think of 3 as the magic number. So when you've got 3 people, then that's when the magic can really start to happen. I'm surprised about you saying sort of 20 years ago it wasn't quite like that. I wonder, for me, looking at it recently, really recently, in the last sort of 20 months because of COVID, I think music industry definitely has been collaborating much more, but also all of the creative industries. And if you look at actors and actresses, and you look at playwrights and script producers and everything in between, they're all coming together to help each other, because otherwise they won't survive.
Yes, yeah, that's the word that was coming in my mind as you were speaking, survival. It's almost like collaborate or die, you know.
Yes. Yeah, wow, that is so, but that's tragic, because if we lose all the people that are out there that are feeding our soul through music, through acting, through art, through all of these different mediums, then what's going to be left for us if we keep putting them sitting them on the poor table over there, and we're not feeding them and giving them finance and funding? then we're going to be the ones that lose out. And I don't know about you, but if I can't get to a comedy club or a theatre or a live gig or concert, there's a little part of my soul that just dies. And I'm not being fed emotionally, spiritually by these amazing talents that are out there. And putting a streaming service on and asking Alexa to play some music is not quite the same thing.
No, it's not. No, I mean, that's my world, you know. If I go out, you know, I will go out to watch music performances from people that are signed to people that are not signed, and people that are playing in the corner of a pub, you know.
And I'm always the one that's clapping. Everyone else is like ignoring them and just radio. And they're like, no, it's a real live person.
Yeah, mainly because, you know, that's I've always gravitated towards those people in life anyway. So a lot of my friends are, you know, fellow musicians, or people that like music, or people that like art, or you know, or you know, like graphics, or whatever it is. You know, those are the people that I tend to gravitate towards.
They have, because they're creative, I mean, if you look at the technical scientific side, they are right-brained creatives. Left brain is the practical person, the person that sort of does things by, you know, painting by numbers, as opposed to a creative that has a canvas and does exactly what they want to do. And I think when you get a bunch of creatives in the room, it just has some magic together. I remember when my daughter had her 21st birthday party. We had it at the house, and the next day there were some hangers on, like there usually is, and a lot of her friends were in a choir. Now we have a piano in the parlor, so to speak. I don't play. She used to play, but lots of her friends do. So people were having breakfast, they were in the garden, they were hanging out. Friends of ours had gone to a B&B and came back for a bit of breakfast, and somebody went up and started tinkling on the piano, and I'm like, what's going on, you know? And one by one, they all went into the room where the piano was and started singing, and somebody said, oh, do that one, because obviously a choir, so there's harmonies going on. And I got my phone and I just stood there and I recorded it. It was the best performance I've ever seen. It was just the harmonies, the singing, the fun, the faces. And it was like 11 o'clock in the morning. Most of them were hungover. You know, it was just a magical memory. So now we've got the piano here, and people say, oh, but you don't play, Jill. I said, yes, but we know people that do. And one day they'll be in this house and I'll make them play. And it will happen again, you know. It's just that you cannot recreate that from a spreadsheet, or, you know, being practical. It's organic, and it happens, and it's beautiful.
It's interesting. So it's kind of one of my goals for the year is to learn piano again. Actually, I didn't mention that earlier, but because when the reason I got into music was, well, there were two main people. This might make you laugh, but one was Liberace.
Oh, yeah. All the rings.
But it's interesting you mentioned the rings, because the rings did feature in it. It was the fact that he was just like, he was having a whale of a time, and the audience were just having a whale of a time as well. And I thought, ooh, that's really nice. That's great. I want to do that. And he's got great rings. And then the other thing was, there was when I was growing up, we used to have the odd family party. I remember this guy turning up. I don't know if he was a relation or a friend of the family. This guy called John. And he used to turn up, he'd play the piano, and I just remember the joy in the room. You know, him playing the piano, people would either sing along, and he would play a bit of honky tonk and things like that. And I thought, I want to do that. And then, you know, I started piano lessons, and I would just take exams every year, and it kind of killed it. And by the time I got to 14 or 15, I gave up. I got to like grade 6 in the piano, but
Yeah.
the joy had been kind of sucked out of it because I'd been concentrating on these, examination pieces and scales and arpeggios and everything like that, which is great to get the rudiments of music. But now I've kind of like come back to that and remembered, I love being in a room and, cracking into the guitar and performing and playing and singing songs. But I still love to get on a piano and knock out some songs for people. So that's what I'm going to learn this year.
Brilliant. Let me introduce you to someone who gave me some piano lessons as well. And he said the way that they teach you at school, or where you used to teach and all the scales, he said, you don't need to do all that. He said, there's another way. So I'm like, I'm all ears, tell me. So I'll share that afterwards. I found this guy on LinkedIn. He's amazing. Anyway,
cool.
Talking about when you were a kid and learning the piano, where did your love of music come from? When you were 8 years old, were you like a football fan, or were you like, let's go and sing in a choir? Or what was the passion for you when you were little? And people said to Leo, what are you going to do when you grow up? Was there an answer that came out?
Yes, and yes. Yes, I loved football. I used to have a bit of a hard time because my health wasn't particularly good when I was a kid. I had asthma and stuff like that. So I used to quite often play football and be out and then end up in hospital because I was kind of like going for it a bit too much. So football, yes, loved football, loved music as well. I mean, something I used to do was put on we had like a stereo system. You remember when stereo systems used to kind of fill the wall because they had there was the amplifier, and then there was the record deck, and it's all in different sections.
Love it.
And so and that was in one room, and then you'd walk around and go into the dining room, but it was kind of connected. There was a little corridor gap, so you'd walk around. So I'd walk around and I'd put the record on, and then I'd run round to the piano, and so I'd pick up the Star Wars theme. I'd pick up the theme for Close Encounters of the Third Kind and whatever it was, Doctor Who. There were lots of theme music. So I would do that. Music was big. Just used to love going out on my bike and kicking around on the bike. But I wanted to be a fighter pilot,
Okay. That came out of the blue. I didn't expect that one.
Yeah, I know, it's out of the blue, but I joined the ATC at school, the Air Training Corps, and then actually my eyes, I started becoming short-sighted, and so that kind of went, because you've got to have 20/20 vision. But that was the thing. I was doing that, but I had loads of hobbies. Like I was into swimming club. I was in a swimming club, and I was also a chess player. So I used to go in for chess trophies and things like that when I was a kid, and I still play chess now. Bit of a geek.
Brilliant. Let me ask you a question. This is a theory of mine. Were you any good at maths?
Yes.
Yeah. See, people that are into music are really good at maths. Have you not noticed this? I know, it's like, it drives me nuts. So every single time, and they're like, oh, no, it's not the same. I said, well, there's something in there in your brain that you can grasp the numbers, and then the music, just reading music seems to follow on.
Yeah, I think if you took music and art to their nth degree, they would meet. And I think it's about the patterns. You've got patterns, the way things kind of like group and work out, and you've got patterns of notes and the way they relate to each other. If you look at the 9 times table, 9, 18, which is 1 plus 8. Yeah. 2 plus 7.
You used to do the hand thing with the.
No, I didn't do that.
I've got to remember now. So that's 9. So
Yes.
that's 0 is like 1. Then you turn. I've forgotten it now.
For people listening to the podcast,
Yeah, I'm
Jill
holding my hands.
is holding her hands up.
Sorry, I'll have to go and find us on YouTube. Yeah, there's a thing. Ask an 8-year-old, and they will be able to do it because they do it in all the schools.
Yeah,
but it's something you do with your hands.
I can see where you're going. Like 2 go down, and then
yes,
yes,
So you can see 36 and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
Simple. Yeah, I shouldn't have done that on a podcast. Really, not very clever. Never mind. I was asking you earlier. See, this is the thing. You are an all-rounder, so there's so many things that you could have been passionate about and wanted to do for the world. But your main thing, your main leaning, obviously, is to the arts.
Yes.
So I asked you, what's your dream for the world? Do you remember what you said?
Yes, I said it was for artists, creators, musicians to be able to earn income, really, and to be able to be paid fairly for what they do. And that's kind of well, that is a big part of Tune River. I mean, that is one of our 3 values that we have, which is artists being fairly paid for their work.
Yeah. So this is now your passion project from the point of view of you want it to be your main focus of your career, although you can dabble and do many other things, but this is where your heart leads you. So tell us a little bit more about Tune River, how it started. Where did you get the idea?
Sure. I wrote a song for someone that was close to me at Christmas time. Actually, they were going to be in a different country, and I wasn't going to be with them, so I wanted to be able to get them a gift that they could receive on the day. And not sort of take it over on a plane or anything like that. And so I devised an idea to write a song that had elements of, places they'd been, things that had happened. And so I wrote the song. It came really easily to me. I had the recording equipment, so I could record it. And then I just sent it on a message, like WhatsApped it on Christmas morning. And just the response I got was just so incredible. And then their family were getting in touch and saying, oh my God, that was amazing. And then for the weeks following Christmas, I just had different people sending me messages, her friends, her family, and it kept going. And it was being shared around by people. And I just kind of thought, well, there's something in this. And at the time, I was also reading a lot of self-help books and audio books. I mean, I'm big into that anyway. Business books and how-tos. Jen Sincero was a big one. Who's how to be a badass, or how to be a badass at making money, and badass habits and all that stuff. And I just thought that so often we have these ideas and we find reasons not to do them. Like the original inspiration becomes crushed by our brains. Really, little voices that pop up. Oh, but what if someone says this, and what if that, and what if someone thinks that about you for doing that, and who am I to do this, and all that stuff. So I got a coach. I hired a coach.
Brilliant.
And over the 6 months of having the coach, they helped me to have my back to get the guts to run with it. And now Tune River is here. I feel like I'm waffling on a bit.
No, I was just thinking, how lovely for you to know that you have a business that is responsible for making memories for people that will last a lifetime. Yeah, how many people can say that? You know?
Yeah,
That's amazing. I mean, a photographer at a wedding, maybe, you know, oh yeah, that person's going to look at those photos for the rest of their life. But this is something that everyone can share, everyone can hum along to or sing it and remember it. And even when that person's gone, if that's, you know, this is their song and this is something that they'll hear at the funeral, you know, it's just going to be so important. I'm going to leave you to talk for a minute. I'm going to disappear from the screen because my battery is just dying. I'm going to plug myself in. But can you give us some examples of what other people have thought when you have sent them the song that they've requested?
Yeah, I'll give you some examples. I mean, you're right. The beauty of it is that we are taking people's life stories quite often, how they met, you know, certain sort of, maybe there are certain phrases or in jokes between people that only they know about and that can be put into song. And the effect quite often just makes people cry. I mean, I quite often say it's our job to make people cry, but in a good way. But some of the examples, we had a neighbour buy a song for their neighbour who they'd been neighbours for 7 years. They'd been really good friends, and they'd only had a few months to live, like the neighbour that they bought it for. So that made it so poignant, you know.
What responsibility to
but what a gift to be able to, and privilege to be able to work on something like that for someone. And yeah, we were able to put their story and their references and how they met, and, you know, all into the song. We've had a son buy a song for his mother that was paying for his education. And had helped him get into a college. So that was put into the song. We had lots of like almost like love songs as well, you know.
That's the first port of call, you can imagine, can't you, that people
like people proposing through song, as I did myself.
Lovely. Yeah. No pressure on that one, was there?
No.
Okay, right. Did she like it?
She did, yeah. Well, actually, there was an element of humour to it, because if we go out for local walks, there's lots of beautiful walks around here. So on one of the walks, I just said, you know, I've got this new Tune River song, would you mind listening to it for me just to check it out? She's like, oh God. You know, we're on a walk and you're bringing your business out on a walk. And of course, when she heard it, it was the actual proposal in the song. Yeah, it's incredible, you know. I mean, you can think of all the occasions like Mother's Day and birthdays, and on the website we've built it around that so that we make it easier for the customer. So they choose who the song is, the song is for, and what's the occasion, and all the relevant songs appear.
You need to buddy up with someone like Moonpig, don't you? So that when people go and buy a card, they can also buy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're looking for affiliation partners, and we've got all that set up on the website now. So we're equipped to do that, and we're looking for people to buddy up with, so that they can, or collaborate with. There you go.
That's the word. So that's the word we're looking for. Just throw that one in there.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I think because of the pandemic, I think more people are ready to acknowledge their friends, their special friends, whether it's romantic or not. And this is a beautiful way of doing it, especially if you know somebody that's worked throughout the pandemic and has been one of those stalwarts, have showed up, you know, nurses, doctors, shelf packers, all the rest of it. It's a really nice way to acknowledge. I had, before I knew you, back in 2019, my daughter was getting married. So I invited about 8 of my friends who had known her from the day she was born. So these are women that I'd known for she's 30, she was 30 when she got married. So known me for 30 years. So obviously I've made friends since then, but they weren't included in the cut. So I said, right, girls, you're coming round. You've been part of my daughter's life, all of her life, and you're still part of my life now. So we're going to have a barbecue. So get any husbands, boyfriends, men to drop you off, or friends to drop you off, so you can have a little drink. We'll have a barbecue around our house. And I want you to bring a memory of some point for my daughter and for me. And then we spent time just going around the room throughout the afternoon, raising our glasses in a toast to friendship and reliving memories. And we all brought something that meant something for that person. Now, they didn't all know each other. Don't get me wrong. They were aware of each other, but they didn't all, weren't all friends together. And each one had brought something. There's like, oh, I'd forgotten about that. Oh, that's come all the way from Malaysia and you bought it just for me. How did you get it in your suitcase? And all sorts of things that were like that. And if I'd had a chance to have a song for them, it was my way of saying thank you for being in my daughter's life, but also in my life. And normally we don't get to say this stuff to each other until one of us dies.
Yes.
So let's say it beforehand. And I think we should make a big part of that. Over the pandemic, we should acknowledge the people that are the important people in our lives now. And I think having a song like that is just so precious. I cannot see how what you are doing cannot blossom and grow massively, because the world needs things like this at the moment. And I think, going back to what we were saying earlier, the world needs musicians and artists and actors and poets and scribes and storytellers, for us, and just sculptors, and just for us to connect back into the essence of our soul and the essence of who we are. And it's such a way, as you say, across the miles to connect people together. I think what you are doing is incredibly important. And it's not just a nice to have, but it's what your talents are a gift that you were meant to be delivering. I think a gift of chess, being good at chess, not so great. But the fact that you can create like this is phenomenal. So do you know where it came from, this musical gift? Are your family musical?
So my uncle was I don't know if it's a red coat or a blue coat. He was one of those people in Pontins.
Pontins would be blue, I believe.
Right.
I think Butlins are the red ones.
So he worked there for a while.
Showing my age now.
But he also used to tour, I think. And I know he's been playing guitar up until retirement. He's played in different countries, and he was a big Hank Marvin fan. So the Shadows. So he was a Strat guy, Fender Stratocaster guy.
So you sort of sat at his knee and learned how to play.
I don't think I ever heard him play music. I just knew he did it. And then where I grew up, we were just outside places like Dartford and Bromley. We were sort of like in between the two of them. Bromley was when David Bowie went to school in Bromley.
Of course,
Billy Idol. I was a big Billy Idol fan. There was a girl that I was seeing when I was younger, and she was into Billy Idol, and I was like, who's this? And it was like, oh, wow. Now you're talking. We were being served up. I don't know what we were being served up at the time, but it wasn't very cool. And then there's this guy with bleached blonde hair wearing leather, and yeah, rocking out, and I thought, that's more like it. And he used to drink in a pub in Bromley called Three Compasses, and I always used to be going there to try and sort of like other time when he was there, but I never got to see him. So yeah, and there was obviously the Rolling Stones from Dartford. So Keith Richards,
right.
Mick Jagger, they both went to the what was it, Dartford Grammar School. Yeah.
They're old enough to be your granddad, aren't they?
Maybe Love Child, maybe.
Yeah, there's a few of those flying around. Yeah, so you had a lot of influences over there. Wow.
Yeah, and it still resonates with me. Let me show you something.
Yeah.
I know this won't be very good for like.
Oh dear. I'll have to describe it for you if you're listening. Sorry. Okay, so Leo's just cleared off the room.
So I've started doing these.
Oh, beautiful. You drew that? What is it?
I drew it. Yeah, it's just pencil drawing. So that's Keith Richards.
That's stunning.
And
oh my goodness.
So I've started to extend the musical thing into, you know, my free time as well, instead of kind of watching too much Netflix, to sort of like draw what I've been influenced by as well.
Yeah. Oh, that is so. Are they going to be on your website as well? Because that is a stunning picture. Incredible.
I will. Well, it's outside of Tune River, but I'll have to see what I do about my personal website, my Leo Live stuff.
Yes, that is so well. So therefore, the arts are just running through your veins, aren't they? You know, whatever you want to be creative at, which is why you do graphic design as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can just tweak and turn. And is there any ambition for you?
Yeah.
Apart from maybe playing Wembley, I don't know, that is unfulfilled, that you think, oh, I've always wanted it. I mean, you were talking about playing the piano earlier, weren't you?
Yeah, learning the piano again.
Is there any ambition that you've got to, you know, big fat audacious goal for 5 years' time? If only you could, what would that be?
I'd quite like to play at the Royal Albert Hall again.
Again? Oh, yeah.
I sang there when I was 12.
What an experience.
Yeah, but that was with a big choir. I was singing Verdi's Requiem. So no doubt I would have been in one of the high parts. But I went back to Royal Albert Hall at the end of last year. I went to see Patti Smith.
Yeah.
And that place has just got such a magic to it.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Yeah. So I'd love to perform there sometime. Okay. Yeah.
That would be amazing. Well, when you do, because I know it's not if, it's when, could you let me know so that I could be in the audience? That would be
sure. Yeah.
My dream come true.
Backstage pass.
Yes, please. The last time I was there, I'd been given tickets to the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra playing the soundtrack and watching the film of Singing in the Rain, which is my most favorite movie of all time. And then I realized, once we were sat there, that Gene Kelly's widow was introducing it. And at the end, she came back on stage to say, thank you all for being here. It's been great. Gene this and Gene that, and a little talk. And as she walked off stage, she went and sat down about 3 seats away from me. And I thought, she's been there all the time. I said to my husband, that's it, I'm going to go. So I stood up and legged it round to where she was. And we had a lovely chat. She was an absolute angel. She gave me a hug, and it was before COVID. And it just made my day. But that whole space, whether you watch a Christmas concert and all the trees are up, or whatever it is that they perform. We saw Wei Wei play the piano.
Right.
Who else was it? Loads. It is a very special place. So I can't wait to see you there. If that's going to be on my list.
Right.
It's yours. Okay. I'll keep you to that.
Okay.
That's fantastic.
No pressure.
If anybody wants one of these amazing songs created for their loved one, whoever that may be, what's the easiest way to get hold of you, get in touch with you to get one?
Go through the website. We've made it really, really easy. Spent a lot of time and money invested on making it really customer friendly. So it's tuneriver.com. So think like Moon River, but with tune at the start. Go to tuneriver.com and you can create your own song. Just put in who the song is for, what the occasion is, and we start to build it out for you. And you can listen to examples of songs, listen to different artists, and I mean, really within 5 minutes you can have it done and ordered.
Wow.
And then we turn it around within 72 hours, because each one of the Tune River artists has either got their own professional studio set up, or they work with a producer where they have 24-hour access to a studio. So turn it around very quickly. You can make people cry.
Oh, lovely.
Happy tears.
And
Tears.
If the people listening are a singer-songwriter and think, oh, I'd like to do that,
yes.
How should they get hold of you?
The best way is to you can find it on the website, but you can email me directly as well. It's leo@tuneriver.com. We've got 35 artists on board now, from the UK, from America, from Canada. Just signed our first Canadian artist, second Canadian artist actually. Got some from the Philippines, signed someone from Germany, and recently signed someone from Limerick, which I loved as well, in Ireland. Please do get in touch and send me examples of your work. Love to hear it.
Brilliant. Or alternatively, if you fancy meeting Leo live, we have our monthly session at Collaboration Global, and you're more than welcome to come along to one of our Zoom sessions, always the last Tuesday of the month. And you can go to collaborationglobal.org and you'll find the booking page on the front page, and you can just book in. Doesn't cost anything, and hopefully Leo will be there and you can have a little chat with him there as well. Thank you, Leo. What a fantastic conversation. I do believe that we need our creatives in this world. They are undervalued, and we need to keep all of the things that you've mentioned today going and being supported, because our musicians do indeed, and all of the creators need to be acknowledged and recognised and funded much more effectively than they are at the moment. I just cannot imagine how many people are out of work or are doing things that are not in their genius, in their talent, because they're not able to sustain themselves with that role. So
we've for example, on tuneriver.com, we've got people that are million streamers, so they've hit over 1 million streams on Spotify, but not been paid a bean.
That's not
and they're still waiting on stuff, and if they do get paid, it's going to be pittance. It's 0.007p per play. Not good. But it's just wonderful from a Tune River perspective to be able to support really credible artists. I mean, one of our artists went platinum at the end of last year, so it's
well, that's good. Well, thank you. Keep doing what you're doing. It sounds amazing.
So much.
And I look forward to seeing you at Collaboration Global session soon. Thank you for everything you do, that you contribute to our community as well. And thank you for this podcast. We'll see you again soon. Okay, take care.
Thank you.